Kriga Bundalo. Welcome back to the channel, everybody, and welcome to the library. I'm coming to you from here today with a bit of an interrupting video. So let's just take a minute here. Let's step back and ask ourselves, how did we get here? Okay. How did we get here? Well, I'll tell you how we got here. Some of you will remember a while back, I released a video where I opened an original piece of comic art that came from Roberto de la Torre. And that was from the Titan Comics Conan the Barbarian issue number 4. Now, I'll put a link to that video down below. Now, I'll tell you, opening that and really going down that road of having that and bringing it into my Casa del Fats and having it here beside my workspace has been a phenomenally rewarding experience. And in that video, as you can probably tell if you've watched it, I was fairly excited about that. And I still am really excited about that today. What that video represented, though, was really just the beginnings of me sticking my toes into the vast ocean that is original comic art. And unfortunately, what's happened here is the tide was strong enough, it just pulled me right in. So today, we are opening another package of original art. Now, this one is a package of original art that came in from Dean Kotz. Now, Dean, if I said your name incorrectly, I apologize. I actually watched a YouTube video about how to pronounce your name because I purposely didn't want to screw it up. But if I did, I apologize. Just down below and let me know. So we're going to do this video in a couple segments. Now, I'll tell you the first thing we're going to do is turn this around so that I'm not standing in front of this reflective glass surface anymore, because I'm getting really sick and tired of recording in front of this, because I gotta tell you, the nuances that have to go in place so that these don't screw things up is getting ridiculous. So one, we're gonna turn this bad boy around and we're gonna go over to the workspace. We're gonna talk about, well, why did I do this and what made me go down the road of this particular purchase? Then we're gonna go through the fun part of this, which is actually opening this up and really taking a look at what we've got. I know many of you are going to jump to that last part, and I'll chapterize this thing for you so you can just jump on through there if you want to. But for those of you who want to know the why, you might want to stick through the meat and potato section in the middle of this to get to that. Let's get into it. All right, let's get into the meat and potato side of this thing. Let's talk about what and why and how and who. I think, yeah, that basically covers all the questions we need to do today. The where, no, we don't need to discuss that. Okay, so here's the deal. A while back, and I mentioned this in the intro we did, I shot that video where I opened that package from Roberto de la Torre, and I'm referencing that again here because in that video, I deep dove into a lot of lore. I was talking about many things, but why that particular page that I chose was so important to me, and why I chose to bring that into the house. I gotta tell you, there was a lot of Hyborian Age conspiracy theory hat wearing in that one without literally wearing the hat, where I was basically airing what I thought is going on here. Now, I could still be proven to be entirely wrong, and who knows? It could happen. I'm just a guy who talks about Conan all day. What do I know? So it could happen, but within that, I really explained why I thought the connection with the Thurian Age and Brula Spearslayer was so pivotal. And a piece of that actually comes back to the point that I still have to say, I prefer King Kull to King Conan. I know, it's going to get me in hot water, but again, I'm saying it again. Another thing that we did though in here, and this is a context point, I'm going to put a second video down there in the description. That second video is my review of Conan the Barbarian Story Arc number 1 by Titan Comics. Now, I was really positive on Story Arc number 1. And the reason for that was I was really positive on this nuance where they threw in this character of Brissa. And I really liked, of course, the whole, flashback with Brule in ghost form being there in that in-between world. But the references here and the intonation that Brissa was in fact a direct descendant of Brule was a pivotal thing for me, and it jumped off the page at me. I really enjoyed that. One of the things I made as a comment in that video was, I certainly hope we have an opportunity to bring Brissa back. I hope she's not gone. And there was enough hints and affirmation after the fact that yes, she's going to be coming back, and I think we all saw it coming. Well, this issue came out recently. That Savage Sword Conan number 4. Now, I've read that issue. I have a variety of thoughts on it because it's all sorts of different segments within it. And I think it deserves an entirely different video where we're talking about that. But I'm going to reserve the right to do that later on once I've finished the actual Black Stone. And maybe I've read another couple issues of Savage Sword, so I can do that maybe as the next 3 issues of Savage Sword and what I thought of those. Those of you who want to see that, we'll get to it. It'll just be later. In that, though, we have a beautiful story that's done by Jim Zub, the writer of the main flagship of Conan the Barbarian, as well as Dean Kotz, where they do the very thing that I was hoping they would do. They brought back Brissa. But they explain more of what happened behind the scenes in Conan the Barbarian number 4. That issue that I was already so fond of that I already have a piece of art of right over there. Because that issue was done basically from the point of view and the surrounding environment of Conan the Barbarian. It did not have the surrounding view of what happened specifically to Brissa. We all thought she went back into the spire, and unfortunately when it collapsed, that was the end of her. Or maybe she was killed before the spire collapsed. We don't know. Well, the fact of the matter was, she wasn't. And in fact, she was there the whole time in the background. It's a beautifully written story. I don't want to spoil it for anybody who has not read it, because I got to tell you, it's so subtle in what it does. Well, I'm stopping right there. It was just really well done, okay? So, with that, being the guy that just bought one piece of original comic art that's Conan related that I was really fond of, and I still am, I reached out to Dean after I finished reading Savage Sword number 4, and it was literally the very next day after I finished reading it. I reached out to him and I said, listen, do you still have pages for this? This was really well done. I would like to pick some up for me, and he did. Now, I am going to put contact information for Dean down below. For those of you who are interested, we'll get through the actual opening, and at the end of this, maybe we'll come back and we'll just do a little bit of an admin thing where I want to talk about camera and camera angle for those of you who are interested. For those of you who aren't, don't worry about it. But that'll be after the actual normal wrap-up we do. But there will be contact details for Dean down below if you are interested and you're interested in picking up other works that are within this or some of his other stuff that he's done. I gotta tell you, this was really well done. The art style blended exactly into what I would have expected for a story that's mainly based around this group of, this culture, basically, of Picts. The art and the content matched perfectly, which is something that Titan is doing very well right now, where they're taking the art and having it match the content so well, it just blends wonderfully in every story they've done. All right, that's enough of the dialogue about me and why I did this. I think what we really want to get into, and this is what you guys probably want to see, is Tennessee Fats, can you just open up the package? All right, let's get into opening this bad boy. Now, I'll tell you, this is always the fun part because, well, I get one shot at this because, well, after it's opened, it's opened. So here we go. All right, so camera is set out to walleye vision here. I'd say this is the beautiful part about recording this thing with this fancy new thing that I got here, is that I'm able to go this crazy widescreen, which is absolutely necessary because this is the size of the package. Now, to give you a sense of how big this is, hold on, I'm gonna walk away from the camera here for a bit, and then I'm gonna come back to it. Okay, here we go. To give you a sense of how big this is, that's Savage Sword number 4 right there. Yeah, that's big. Okay, so we'll set this aside, because we don't want to hurt this. We're going to come back and we're going to look at this later, because we're going to talk about how the actual pages present themselves in the magazine after we get this open. But for now, I guess we're just going to start cutting and let's get into this bad boy. Now, there will be points in time where I'm probably going to pull this off screen. Always want to make sure there's nothing personally identifying in these things, like addresses and stuff like that when you're shooting. That's kind of an important one. All right, let's get this bad boy open here now. The cut, I believe, is just down the side here. I'll tell you, I've got a knife and I'm using it around original comic art. And I'm sure right now there are people at home that are just losing their mind, saying, what does it matter with you, you idiot? Well, trust me, I'm being careful. I have some faith in this old man, okay? Because I gotta tell you, every once in a while they do something right. Ah, here we go. There's an inner envelope of stuff in here. Okay, well, let's just check this here. Yeah, that's empty. Let's get that out of there. Wow, there's the first step done. So we have inner fancy envelope of fancy cardboard, nicely taped up. Do I have a pull on these? Oh, I can just pull these. Well, that's much safer than using a knife. Let's pull them, shall we? Ooh, nice tape. And you know what we'll do here? Because I'm sure this is going to be an issue and people are going to get triggered by this. We're going to remove the tape completely from the area. So there's no chance any tape is going to touch anything that may by any chance be, you know, original comic art related. Probably a good idea. Let's go with that. All right, so here we go. Third piece of tape, we're getting down there. Oh, tape tore. Tape it in half, get out of there. Let's grab the cardboard. Let's grab the cardboard. Doesn't matter. I don't care about the cardboard, I care about what's inside it. There we go. Now, as I mentioned earlier, this Brissa character, quite a thing. And I've talked about it enough in the whole, you know, story arc number 3 review, in my actual original Toray opening, all that sort of stuff. I talked about it enough in there. We don't need to go down the road too much more on that right now, but, you know, if I was to put money on this thing, which guess what, I just did, I would argue that this Brissa character is probably going to become something more than we're seeing right now. This is pretty fancy. Ooh, look. It's actually put inside a little Bristol thing. That's nice. That's a smart reuse of that. That's cool. All right, one more tape. Here we go. Tapey. Let's get her off here. Now, I'll tell you, as far as my interaction with Dean goes, and I'll give this a full cred, and I'll be very clear about this. Dean was the nicest fellow you could possibly imagine to deal with. And I would strongly encourage any of you that do want to reach out to a comic artist or somebody that's working on a project that you're particularly interested in. They're people too. Don't be afraid to do so, because I'm 2 for 2 right now with reaching out to these comic artists that are working on Conan right now, and both of them have just been fantastic. I tell you, the interesting aspect with this, and I had to ask a favor of Dean, was we were talking about this whole purchase, and we arranged for the whole thing, and we decided what we're going to get, and everything was done. And then at the end of the day, I had to say, listen, Dean, I have a favor to ask. I'm going to be traveling overseas for 2 weeks. Would you mind holding off on shipment for me and then ship it after I'm back? That way you don't have any risk with Canada Post, potentially delivering it and then it coming here and then nobody signed for it. And he did. He was very nice about the whole thing. Held the whole thing back, and it got here perfectly fine and perfectly safe. And I do appreciate that. Let's get more out. Oh, there's another one inside. This really shows how much comic artists go through these Bristol things, because there's 2 of these things wrapping this up. Oh, here's our envelope. Okay, let's get this out. Get this out. So here's our 2 Bristol things. Get them gone. Over there. And here are my pages. Now, how am I gonna? I guess I'm gonna carefully deal with tape here. Let's go with that. We're gonna carefully work on a taping issue here. Okay. 1. That's over there. Got another one over here. 2. Come on. Very careful. As my grandfather would say, careful. Easy. Get that out of there. Number 3 here. There you go. Careful. Easy. These are big ticket items. Tennessee fence, don't screw it up. Okay. So that's the tape on that side off. Do you think it just comes apart? Maybe not. Okay. Unfolding. All right. This is really neat. Okay. Unfold it again. Okay. Got more tape over here. With the careful, easy. Yeah. All right. Again, getting it away from the workspace. Same thing over here. We're going to go from this direction because we're pulling the tape down off of the upper piece. All right, that's gone. And I think if I get these 2 over here, then what I can do, here is I can actually just slide this out from that side. I have taken all the tape away completely, so we know we're not going to slide it out and slide it into a piece of active stickum, which would be bad. There we go. Okay, so is this going to do it? You piece it. There we go. All right, 1, 2. What do we got here? Thanks, Rob. Best wishes. That's very nice. Thank you, Dean. Appreciate that. Okay, here we go. Slide this out like such. Okay, I got my protective piece of paper right here. I'm going to take my protective piece of paper, because I may have to reuse this. I'm going to gently put it down over here. Gently. There we go. All right, and come on, fingers. Old man fingers. Come on, work with me. You never know when they're going to just drastically disappoint you. Okay, so here we go. Page 1. Now what we'll do here when we get back to the conclusion here, and I'm wrapping up, is I'll take stills of these and I'll put them beside me and we'll embed it in there so you guys can, pause the video and take a good look at it. This image here, Savage Story Conan number 4, page 6. And this is where Brissa has been fighting off the undead army above the pit, the very one that Conan was fighting within, and where he stabbed that skull before the explosion. Now I'll tell you, this is an interesting one. The reason why I chose this particular page was because it showed Brissa right there while Conan was stabbing that skull before that lightning strike. And her again in the background with Conan being unaware that she was there. Because she had fallen through the roof because the roof collapsed with all of the volcanic and the explosive activity that was occurring. And then she starts to fade away over here. And this is where she fades off and she ends up in the dream world and actually talking to her own mother. This one, again, speaks to me because you've got here the descendant of Brule right there when Conan does break that skull, which again ties to Thulsa Doom. Fascinating page, and it was fascinating to me that this showed more of the background of what was going on. There was one other page that I was contemplating as well that had her and Conan in the same scene as well, but I chose not on that one because this one spoke to me more. Let's just put it that way. Really, really cool. And I like the fact that she was fading off here into the dream world, that dream world being the very one where Conan meets Brule in the piece of art that's sitting right over there beside the workspace. Very, very cool. Now, I'll be very clear though. I did not just get one page. I said pages. I got two. Here's the second one. Wow. This is the splash page at the beginning. Holy crap. Okay, okay. The action on this, yes, this was to me the piece that actually spoke to the story and connected with it for me. This is just a beautiful piece. I am stunned with this. Again, this is the prior page to this one was where you had a flashback of her as a child, watching the men of her tribe get this mark across their eyes to show they're warriors and hunters. Wow. Just wow. When you see it in the comic, it just okay, hold on. All right, I'm not speechless that often. You could accuse me of kissing the Blarney Stone here and having the gift of gab, but hot damn. Okay, hold on. Yeah, here's the actual page in the comic. Wow, just wow. And for those of you who wanted to see the other page, the one where she does go through this process and start slipping into the dream world. There it is right there. Just phenomenal pieces. Now, what's fascinating is when I was talking to Roberto Del Torre with regards to the pages that I was buying from him, or the page that I bought from him at the end of the day, I was contemplating the very panel that this is depicting where he does hit that skull, but then there was a 2-page splash where he's blown off out of it, where the volcano or the explosive action that's depicted here takes place. I decided against it. I did want to get the Brule image and the Brule interaction with that hole in the chest. I'm glad I did that, but wow, just Dean, I'm gobsmacked. I am utterly gobsmacked with the work I'm looking at here. This is stunning. Just now, what is this in the? Oh my! Oh my! Boy, that I didn't see coming. Wow. All right, hold on. Just pull this up over here. Let me just take a closer. Holy crap. Dean, I didn't expect that at all. Thank you very much. I really appreciate this. And I'll tell you, ooh. Hold on. So, you remember when I said the next page, hold on. Where Brissa is talking to her mother in the dream world after she's faded out here, and she ends up reaching out and grabbing her mother's spear. Hold on, turn the page. She takes the spear. This was actually another page that was seriously in contemplation for me as to one to get, because this is the House of Howard. And having Brissa right there with the spear to the House of, but check this out. Yeah. Oh, that is awesome. Wow, great. Honest, fantastic inclusion. Did not expect that at all. That is, wow. I'm utterly floored. Dean, thank you very much for sending that over. Oh, my goodness. Oh, I got to think about this now. Okay. Let's get back and do a wrap up here. I could sit here and stare at this gobsmack for hours, and that's not going to be entertaining for you guys at all. I'll do that on my own time later. All right, so let's wrap this bad boy up here. Now, I got to tell you, this was a very interesting one for me, and I really enjoy these mail opening videos for a variety of reasons. Well, mostly because I own these things, and opening them up is actually putting them in my hands, and it makes me very happy. These mail opening videos that I've now done 2 of with regards to opening original art, though, have been so phenomenally rewarding. And it's an interesting aspect of the hobby. I'm so interested in Robert E. Howard and Cull and Conan and the other IP that comes out of the Howard verse, that being able to own an original piece of art really is putting your money where your mouth is. It's actually stepping back and saying, no, I actually like this enough that I'm going to take a stronger ownership piece in the actual original work that produced the comic. I'm not saying I'm the guy that's out there, masterminding this. That's all Titan Comics, and that's all the creative teams working on this. And I want to thank the creative team again for doing such a fantastic job so far. But as a fan, the opportunity to buy the art gives me the opportunity to really feel like I'm now more involved in this than I was before. And I don't know, it's one of those fluffy sort of feeling things. It's the feels, guys. It really is with the feels. But this one, it's got me with the feels. Dean, I want to once again personally thank you for the phenomenal job and the phenomenal interaction we had, and how friendly and really proactive you were in helping this whole thing happen. Holding these for me until I can get back from that ridiculous trip I was on was really appreciated. And I got to tell you, I'm quite happy that that happened. I'm quite happy that these arrived here safely. I couldn't even wait for my regular scheduled video release to actually open these. I wanted these open like now. So that tells you how excited I'm about it. And the work is stunning. The inclusion of the additional piece was just mind-blowing. Now, I know I only have limited wall space here in the office and in the library, but these will definitely be making their way up onto the walls. I will be looking at these on a regular basis. So thank you very much for once again the great job you did, and secondly for actually working with me on actually getting these here to the Casa del Fats. Everybody, that's our video for this week. I hope you enjoyed this one. We'll see you in the next video. Wait. We almost just completely screwed that up. Hold on. Here's the stills for those of you that are interested. We'll just let these play for a while so you guys can take a good look. All right, let's get into the snippet that I told you guys would be here for you regulars of the channel. Now, I imagine this video may have brought new viewers in who haven't seen our stuff before just because of the hashtags that were involved and because of what we actually did as the content here. But this is the one that, well, listen, you regulars know I stick Easter eggs in at the end of these videos from time to time. This is what I'm sticking in for you guys. And I'm sticking it in here because we did something different today. And that difference is, well, this. And it's not the sweater, by the way. It's the fact that we're facing somewhere totally different in the video. The whole shooting here has been entirely different. The lighting has been different. We've been experimenting with different things on the channel as to when we can and can't record, and what does and what doesn't work. And I'll tell you, shooting with the glass background, quite frankly put, does not work. The reason I made this channel was actually to do something fun. I was doing this because I wanted to have fun doing it, and I wanted to share my love of this hobby with you guys in an interesting and, well, in my mind, humorous way. Now, I get the majority of my jokes only I get. I understand that. But you know what? If it makes me laugh, I'm going to keep doing it. The problem being, well, shooting's become a phenomenal pain in the ass. And I mean that in the harshest possible sense. Shooting with that glass background behind me, which I love, don't get me wrong, I love the Tennessee Fats Library. I spend most of my time actually just sitting here, staring at it, and pulling out books from time to time and going, ah, yes, I remember buying this, and the memories and the feels that come with that mean so much to me. But, unfortunately, I'm shooting in an area that has a giant pane of glass windows where I've been getting a lot of natural sunlight, which is great for shooting, but it's bad thermodynamically wise. And I mean that in that this room cooks. And I have alluded to this on prior videos where I've made snippy comments. And I've said, it's too damn hot. And it is too damn hot most of the time. And the real problem that comes up with this is I live in an area where, as much as I love my neighbors, for some reason, every time I open up those windows over there to let fresh air into this room while I'm recording, they decide to have a chainsaw and leaf blower party where they're dancing around in a circle in their front yard, flipping these things up in the air, revving them as high as they can while they're dancing around wearing goat leggings. Now that's an exaggeration because they're not actually wearing goat leggings, but I think you get a sense of where I'm going with this. There's a lot of noise and things that come in that make me shoot and reshoot and reshoot. And I'm done with that. This has to go back to being fun. So I get it. where I'm at right now might seem like, oh, look at the old Professor Tennessee Fat sitting on the corner of his desk yakking. Yeah, that's what we're going to be doing for a while. And we're going to be doing this for a while because this is so much more comfortable for me. If you guys have any questions or suggestions about lighting, if you guys are YouTubers out there, and you're saying, Tennessee Fats, you really want to try this differently? I am always willing to listen. I have no problem putting in extra lights in here and doing other things to make it look a little different. As it is right now, this is actually the result of a couple different experiments I've done. And I think this works. But if you have suggestions, I'm always willing to learn. Down below and let me know your thoughts. There you go, everybody. That's your Easter egg for this video. I know it's not really that exciting, and it's not a big thing where I'm unboxing something. I think that was enough of that in the actual video that was content here, but I do actually have 2 others over there. I wonder if we should include one of those. All right. It's extra Easter egg. I can't help myself. This is one, don't get me wrong. Today's video and the content we shot today was pretty darn important to me. And it is still the same day, by the way. I'm just dressed differently because, well, things happened between then and now. Most of it involved me spilling food all over my clothes. You know, when I type like a platypus, and clearly when I eat like a platypus. Flap, 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 flap. It doesn't work when you're trying to keep your clothes clean. That's all I have to say about that. All right. Last thing we're throwing in, I thought about doing this and just sharing this with you guys who are following me on Instagram. But this is kind of cool, and this one actually really speaks to the importance of just waiting. This came into the house, and as you guys mentioned, or may have seen, or you wouldn't have mentioned it, I would have mentioned it. Wow, I should stop pointing at myself with a knife. I mentioned the fact that I went overseas. I did, and I gotta tell you, it was a very eye-opening experience, and this was a gift from my wife. Where I said, okay, here's what we're doing. It was a milestone birthday, and I said, I'm buying you this, and this is what we're doing, and I hope you enjoy it. And, well, there's a lot of things I can say about this trip. I alluded to the fact that I think I used the word ridiculous earlier in this very video. Let me tell you, it wasn't ridiculous in a bad way. This was just mind-blowingly, like, just craziness. And okay, we'll stop there. But while I was away, something came into the house. Now, some of you may know, you may or may not know, just push that to the side for a second. I'm a comic guy, and I've read a lot of comics over the years. And given my age, some of you may have guessed my age already, or my age range. I'll tell you this much, I'm just shy of 50. And the bottom line is, I've been reading comics for a long, long time. So there are certain comics that I identify with personally. And I mentioned the thing about the feels earlier in this video. The feels is a real thing. And as you get to your advanced years, which I consider myself to be at this point in time, you start to recognize the importance of the feels. They mean something. Certain comics that have come out and gone by the wayside resonate with me. Let's just put it that way. Conan, absolutely. But there are other things that really resonate with me on a personal level because these came out at a time where I was forming who I am as an individual. Part of this, and I've referenced this before, and I've actually made videos on this channel, where I've done reviews of omnibus. And I'm going to use omnibus here because I always guess about whether it's omnibuy, omniboo, or omnibo. We're going to go with omnibus. Many of those have been about Valiant. Now, Valiant came up with this wonderful thing called the Valiant Classics Omnibus. And they did this where they were re-releasing all of their original 1990s material. Now, I have picked up all of them. The problem is I got to the party too late. I only became aware of these after some of them had already been released. And I gotta tell you, trying to buy those after the fact, remember when I said earlier in this video that, you know, going down the original art path is not necessarily the cheapest route and it's not for the faint of heart. The amount of money you would spend on an original piece of art in some cases is less than what you would spend on, just knock the box out of the way, on omnibus that have come out that are no longer in print. And I can tell you honestly, I find that phenomenally frustrating because really it's simply price gouging. That's all it is. These are omnibus. Like, come on. This is not a collectible industry. What are you talking about here? But for some reason, people seem to think they can get away with charging thousands and listing these things for thousands on various reselling forums. Well, I can tell you, I'm looking over there at my rack in the library, and I can see I've got Exo Manowar, Bloodshot, Ninjak, Shadow Man, and Eternal Warrior. Eternal Warrior was the first one of the Alien books reprint. And I've mentioned, I believe we've done the reviews of, I believe, 4 of these, if not 3 of them. I don't think we did a review. Well, maybe we did. We might have done a review of all 5. I'll have to check my own library to check that one. The problem is that they're blending. And as old age sinks in, certain memories are not kicking in so well. The Valiant characters, a lot of them are really cool. And a lot of them speak to me on a different level. And it was interesting when those were coming out, how different they were than what Marvel was putting out. And how different they were than what DC was putting out. And the differences, it's an amazing thing. When I say how different, there were subtle differences, but the subtle differences were like a snowball on a mountain. When you take a couple of them and stick them together, they make this giant rolling ball that can wipe things out. And that's really what Valiant did in their early issues. Now, I say their early issues because as Valiant moved on with time, the comic market collapsed because, well, quite frankly, it was saturated. You had Image cranking books out there like crazy. You had Valiant cranking out books like crazy. You had Marvel and DC, the 2 powerhouses, still trying to crank out books like crazy. And the reader just got buried. And this is what led to the collapse. It was just an oversaturation of supply, which is a shame because you saw all of these industries and these companies now really getting, well, I'm going to say weaker and weaker in the content of what they were putting out, which is a shame. It really was. But at the end of the day, they were good books. They really were in the early ages. And one of my favorite ones that came out at this point in time from Valiant was actually Archer and Armstrong. And it's interesting because Armstrong, or Aram, I believe is how you actually pronounce his name, is the one that resonated with me the most. And it's interesting because the character is one that wears this crazy, what do they call that type of hat? A driver's cap? I can't remember. You guys always see me wearing a Yankees cap, and there's a reason for that. I am a Yankees fan. This is how I identify in sports. This is it, which is fine. And you know what? Listen, we made it all the way to the World Series this year. And quite frankly, good job, guys. It's a shame we lost at the end of the day, but I have to say this critically. The Dodgers outplayed us. They really did. Anyways, moot point, setting that aside, I still wear that type of cap all the time. And I have since my teenage years because I identify with this character, which really shows you how dorky I was as a teenager, where I was basing my actual style and the way I dressed off of a fictitious character that was an immortal that was also just a goofball. The Archer and Armstrong omnibus was the one that I didn't get. That's the one that I was too late to the party to get. And everywhere I saw it, it was between $300 to $1,000. And it was ridiculous. And I said, no, I'm not doing this. Well, just before I went on my vacation, I was bored one night, and I was on the interwebs, and I was on the eBay. Well, on the eBay, I guess a long time ago, I set up saved searches. The saved search found this. That's right, this is the Archer & Armstrong Omnibus from Valiant, and it is the complete classic omnibus right there. It's still sealed. And guess how much I paid for this? Original cover. Now, I had to pay $30 in shipping. I understand that. But original cover. These things can still be found, apparently, if you're patient. And I gotta tell you, this makes me pretty happy. Because I now have all of the Valiant Classic Omnibus. Omnibus. Nope, Omnibus. I will be reading this. We will be doing a video where we actually do a review of this, and we'll talk about Archer & Armstrong in greater detail. It'll be something we'll put out at a later date, but I gotta tell you guys, this is gonna be coming. It's coming down the pipe. I am excited about this.